Hi everybody. Catch up to date, catch up to speed on what's going on. I got a GoPro and it sucks. It really does. It's a Hero 3 Black. I get about 18 seconds of video time and it shuts off and it starts getting smoking hot. I thought it was the freezing cold it was doing to it, but that's not working still. I tried it 3 different times today on the rebuilding of these C Brake housings. The last time I thought, it was working. It stayed on for a minute. Well, it stayed on the whole time, said it was recording. It only had 1 minute and 48 seconds of video. So I'm about ready to put it in my cheetah tank and shoot it across the shop into my garage door, but it probably won't stay on long enough for the impact. I wanted to touch base with you guys because I said about rebuilding the C brakes. Only thing wrong with this C brake is one of these small springs, which is normal. What I don't like about C brakes was the other thing I said I would get into. C brake is a component replacement, especially the C14As and the C14Bs. This is the C14B. If this was a pack brake, it would be a P14B. I could buy an entire rebuild kit and rebuild brake housing. If it was a Jake, I could do the same thing. When you get into the C brakes, you tear them down and you find your bad component and buy them piecework. Problem being, which is my main complaint on them, is now that my hands are involved in this, you have to take them all apart and visually inspect everything. Pack brake and Jacobs were so much easier with the kit. You were starting off with all new moving components. If I were to take this apart, replace the broken spring in it, and put it back on, all these springs are the same age. They all have the same amount of wear. Some are worn a little more than others. It is what it is. Problem being is now my hands are in this thing, so it's not a good design. I mean, I prefer to be able to rebuild the entire thing. If I have to rebuild these C brakes, you get to where the customer can say, well, what was broken in it? Well, just that spring. Why'd you put everything else in it? It starts adding up. The other along the lines is if you don't put everything else in, something else is going to fail. They all have the same amount of mileage on it, same run time. So it makes it difficult for a person with a garage. If you're an owner-operator and you want to go with one spring, by all means go with one spring. In the case of this one, I talked it out with the fella and he was fine with me re-O-ringing the slaves, the solenoids, and putting just the springs that it needed in it. I would much prefer to do everything in them, and then I know where I'm starting from. But I wanted to show you guys the assembly. Like I said, I tried 3 times. It did not work. I'm going to get my phone set up. I'm back to using my phone because apparently that's the only thing that works. I'm going to get my phone set up on the truck, and as long as I don't get any text messages or phone calls, which I'm bound to get them, maybe I can get a video of doing an installation. So, alright guys, talk to you in a little bit. See ya. Alright everybody, I don't know how this is going to work, but we're going to try it out. I'm going to get you as much light as I can, and I don't blind you though. I know there's a hose in your way, but this is what I got. We're going to start assembling. Make sure you put it on the right way. Now when you put a C brake on, there's a torque sequence to them. I'll show you that torque sequence in a second. There's a torque sequence to everything you ever put together, put it that way. Cut the tar out of my knuckle. One fella was out on a road call, I think it was Wednesday night. It was -9. And I was on a trailer, a bad valve on it. And I was hoping it just had some sludge that was froze up in it, making it stick. I didn't have a valve on the truck, and took it out of the trailer, took all the lines off of it, sat down. I was in my pickup truck. I didn't even take the big truck out. I got it working in the truck, but when I put it back on the trailer, it wouldn't seal up. So I was able to get a valve, and the guy was alright. I mean, his truck was runnable. The truck was running, so he was able to stay warm. I had to get a valve and put the valve on it. But I had a fella call me that night, and he was like 35 miles from me. He was froze up. It was his air dryer's air system was froze on it. And I felt bad because I was already out on one call, and I told him, I'm like, buddy, there's not much I can do about it right now. You know, see if you can get hold of someone else and come after you. If not, give me a call. And I didn't hear nothing from him after that. So hopefully everything worked out well for him, because I know what it's like being stuck out along the road when it's cold and nothing's going right. You can only do so much. I had another fella yesterday call me. And yesterday was Sunday. And he had a Volvo. The starter was out on it, which is a road call. You know, I no problem going after him. But the only thing is, I told him, where am I going to get a starter for it today? And told him there's a place I could have gotten a starter, but shit, it's 70 miles one way. And he didn't want to hear that. Let me grab some tools. Hold on. It's 70 miles one way, and then he wanted to, before I ever got started on it, he wanted to know the exact total of what the road call would be. I told him, well, that's pretty much impossible to know until the job's done. Well, before you go out, I need to know a total. Well, needless to say, I told him I can't give you a total. He said that he'd see about waiting overnight. I said, that's fine. I said, well, give me a call tomorrow morning if you need me. I said, but I cannot give you a total until the job's done. So I didn't get a call back from him either. How can I tell you what everything's going to cost when I don't even have it apart yet? I don't know what I'm going to run into. Get torqued to 75 foot-pounds on a C brake. Of course, I got a text message. Imagine that. I don't use the Tech-Type torque wrenches when I'm working. I don't trust them. I don't trust battery power. And the reason I say that is I've used this style torque wrench for so long, and I have a tendency to put my hand all the way in the back of the handle. I rest the outside of my palm right on it. if you do that with the digital style, I'm sure somebody else can also vouch for me. You put side load on the cap where the batteries are, and it has a tendency to mess up your torque wrench. You're in the middle of torquing and all of a sudden you get an invalid read. So I go back to the tried and true. And this one has never let me down yet, so that's where I stay at with it. I get them calibrated and stick with my old one. I don't like the electronics. They have a tendency to make things more difficult than what they need to be. I don't need a torque wrench that tells me when I'm starting to get close to torque. I can feel that in my arm. Also, don't need a torque wrench to tell me about degrees. 360 degrees in a circle. You know? And if I have an issue on, say I gotta go 30 degrees. You know? I mean, I see it isn't that a flat. You know? Most of the stuff I get into is either quarter turns or half turns after you get your torque. You know, so I just take a paint stick and draw a line on the bolt. Works for me. Never found any paint that damaged the inside of a motor yet, so. That's all she wrote on that. Turn my torque wrench down. Oh. Maybe you guys can see this goofy socket here. This is an old SK 5/8 socket. You can buy an extra deep. Cummins, a lot of them you need an extra deep socket for when you have a stud design like this. You can buy it, or you can take an old socket, cut it in half, put a piece of 1/2 inch black wall pipe in there, weld her back together. Doesn't cost you nothing. It'll last you just as long as the rest of them do. Granted, it's not as pretty, but it does exactly what I need it to do, and I've had that a very, very long time. Alright, let's see what we gotta do here. C brake. Take her to A. Oh, we're almost on A. Now, check 5. They're not loose. Zeus. Alright guys, had another text message. Well, let's brakes all adjusted up on it. Oh, I gotta put a gasket in there, but I just flip that over and get it in place. Another text message, so I've shut my phone off as usual. Did it again. Alright everybody, typical day, typical continuation to today. My phone does not want to keep going now. All I'm getting is text messages and it's driving me crazy. But where we're at, I have it all buttoned together. I have not hit the key yet. Does not have fuel up on it. So let's turn the key and see what happens with this thing. And I hope everything works right. Tired of looking at this thing. Come on, let's see what this brake does. My hand was in the way. That thing comes down quick. Well, she's not hanging up. About 90 pounds of oil pressure in there. So let's look for oil leaks. I'll get back with you guys later on. If not, I'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.